And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. It's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, in today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. On today's show, my special segments are going to be with Sean LaFave with his series, Geared for Wellness. He's always got good stuff to talk about. And John Matthews is going to be here talking about the conservative syndicate. And boy, have we got a lot to talk about. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. First off, I want you to know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 81 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, let's talk about the 10 things that you need to know for today, Thursday. Your daily look at late breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today and tomorrow. And first up, who's enjoying new momentum in the United States presidential race? Well, Hillary Clinton's strong debate performance was a warning to the chaotic Republican field about her likely strength in the general election, the Associated Press's Julie Pace reports. And Israel ramps up security amid wave of Palestinian violence. Despite the new measures, 2 fresh assaults are reported, including the stabbing of a 70-year-old Israeli woman outside the crowded Jerusalem bus station. Hundreds of Iranian troops deployed to Syria. Their arrival in the country's center and north suggests that Tehran's priority is propping up, Assad rather than taking on Islamic State extremists in eastern Syria. And the 911 caller ties Lamar Odom to cocaine. The caller reported that the 2-time NBA champ did cocaine and had taken sexual performance enhancers at the Nevada brothel where he was found unresponsive. And then, why 2 brothers were brutally beaten in an upstate New York church. Well, you know, the attacks, which resulted in the death of one of the teens, were carried out by their parents and others as a way to get the youths to confess their sins, police said. Doesn't that just nauseate you? Well, Walmart shares dropped 10%. It's the biggest one-day drop for the stock in nearly 3 decades and follows the company's forecast of falling profits. Boy, that's a new one. How about this? There's a study out there. Calcium and vitamin D pills do not help prevent growths that can lead to colon cancer. Well, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later to our own Sean LaFave in his Geared for Wellness Corner. It's the latest setback among many for efforts to prevent disease through vitamin supplements. And 26 elephants are poisoned by poachers in a national park in Zimbabwe. The carcasses are discovered just days after 14 other elephants were found dead at the park, also from cyanide poisoning. And where binge watching trend is slowing. In the United States, Netflix gained 880,000 subscribers in the third quarter, below the 1.15 million customers the company had predicted. And then finally, Toronto downs Texas in deciding Game 5 of the ALCS. The 6-3 win propels the Blue Jays to their very first American League Championship Series in more than 2 decades. Now, isn't that something? Well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit more in depth of the news. We've got some big things going on. First off, Obama extends the United States military mission in Afghanistan into 2017. President Barack Obama today abandoned his pledge to end America's longest war, announcing plans to keep at least 5,500 U.S. troops in Afghanistan when he leaves office in 2017 and hand the conflict off to his successor. It is another setback for the president in his quest to extricate the United States from more than a decade of war in Afghanistan and Iraq. The goal was already tarnished by the return of U.S. forces to Iraq last year to help fight the Islamic State, a military mission Obama had said will likely outlast his presidency. Now, the winner of the 2016 presidential election will also become the third American commander-in-chief to oversee the Afghan war. I know many of you have grown weary of this conflict, Obama said, addressing the American people in remarks from the White House. As you are all well aware, I do not support the idea of endless war. But, he added, I am firmly convinced that we should make this extra effort. Wow. You know what? And is it going to be enough, or is it too little, too late? You know, a person just never knows, right? How about this? We have an Associated Press news break. The U.S. analysts knew Afghan site was a hospital. Yeah, you heard me right. American special operations analysts were gathering intelligence on Afghan hospital days before it was destroyed by a U.S. military attack because they believed it was being used by a Pakistani operative to coordinate Taliban activity, the Associated Press has learned. It's unclear whether commanders who unleashed the AC-130 gunship on the hospital, killing at least 22 patients and hospital staff, were aware that the site was a hospital or knew about the allegations of possible enemy activity. The Pentagon initially said the attack was to prevent U.S. troops engaged in a firefight and has since said it was a mistake. The special operations analysts had assembled a dossier that included maps with the hospital circled, along with indications that intelligence agencies were tracking the location of the Pakistani operative and activity reports based on overhead surveillance, according to a former intelligence official who was familiar with some of the documents describing the site. The intelligence suggested the hospital was being used as a Taliban command and control center, and they have housed heavy weapons. After the attack, which came amidst a battle to retake the northern Afghan city of Kunduz from the Taliban, some U.S. analysts assessed that the strike had been justified. The former officer says they concluded that the Pakistani, believed to have been working for his country's inter-service intelligence directorate, had been killed. No evidence has surfaced publicly suggesting a Pakistani died in the attack, and Doctors Without Borders, the international organization that ran the hospital, says none of its staff was Pakistani. The former intelligence official was not authorized to comment publicly and spoke only on condition of anonymity. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I want to talk to you about a teenager who becomes a focus in the Israel-Palestinian conflict, and I'll tell you all about that.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what? We're talking news. And as I promised, I'm going to tell you all about a teenager who becomes a focus in Israel and Palestinian conflict. Easy for me to say, right? You know, the fate of a Palestinian boy seized center stage today in the battle of narratives accompanying the recent burst of deadly Israel-Palestinian violence. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas ignited an uproar in Israel after falsely claiming in a televised speech that Israelis had summarily executed Ahmad Mansoura when the 13-year-old actually was recovering at an Israeli hospital after he stabbed two Israelis, including a boy his own age. Palestinians, in turn, were enraged by video showing Ahmed lying in the street, his head bloodied and his legs splayed, as bystanders curse him and shout, "Die," in Hebrew. The images widely circulated on social media made no mention of the preceding attack by Ahmed and his cousin Hassan, 15, who was then shot and killed by police Monday. The case has become a lightning rod for both sides. Israel has repeatedly accused Abbas of fomenting violence with what it says are incendiary comments. Now, we have a new big lie. The new big lie is that Israel is executing Palestinians, Netanyahu said today. Still, he said he would be perfectly open to meeting Abbas to address what the Israeli leader said was a wave of incitement. Abbas, who has long argued that armed attacks on Israelis go against Palestinian interests, has denied the Israeli allegations that he is fomenting unrest. He did not immediately respond to Netanyahu's offer. You know what? There just can't be peace on earth, can there? I don't think. You know, if you think about it. Doesn't appear to be that way. How about this? Israelis and Palestinians on guard amid unabated violence. A wave of stabbing attacks has spurred fear in Jerusalem and much of Israel, shattering the brittle sense of security Israelis had managed to restore a decade after Palestinian suicide bombings terrified the nation. The public panic has also exposed an ugly side, with some enraged residents calling for Arabs to be kicked out of their apartment buildings and many Palestinians afraid to venture out of their homes for fear of getting mixed up with vigilante mobs. Wow. You know what? And now we're hearing that the Israelis, anybody that has been a dissident or has caused problems for the Israelis, are going to be taken from their homes and their homes are going to be destroyed. Give that some thought, will you? Is that overkill? Sounds kind of brutal to me that maybe, one person in the family was opposed to the Israelis as a Palestinian, but the rest of the family might have been just fine, and now the entire family is going to suffer for it. Takes you kind of back a little bit to the 40s, doesn't it? When during World War II? Think about it. Maybe Netanyahu should be giving this a second thought. Well, Hastert's attorney says former speaker intends to plead guilty. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert intends to plead guilty in a hush money case linked to allegations of sexual misconduct, the defense attorney said today, a move that could ensure that any secrets from his days as a high school wrestling coach are never revealed in public. A written plea agreement should be completed by Monday, Attorney John Gallo told a federal judge during a brief status hearing. At the attorney's request, the judge set October 28th as the date for the 73-year-old Illinois Republican to change his plea. Defendants typically agree to plead guilty in hopes of a more lenient sentence. A plea deal would also avert a trial that could divulge more about the alleged misconduct behind the criminal charges. Neither Gallo nor prosecutors offered details about any possible deal, including which counts Hastert would plead guilty to or whether the man who was once second in line of succession for the presidency would go to prison. Hastert did not attend today's hearing. I guess. Well, you know what? Whatever will be, I suppose, just like that song, huh? And Scottish prosecutors say 2 Libyans are Lockerbie bomb suspects. Doesn't that seem like it was just a long, long time ago? A quarter century after one of the worst terror attacks in British history, prosecutors say they have identified 2 new Libyan suspects in the bombing of a Pan Am jet over Lockerbie, Scotland, and want U.S. and Scottish investigators to interview them in Tripoli. Given Libya's instability, that may be a remote prospect. Scotland's Crown Office said Lord Advocate Frank Mulholland and U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch had agreed that there is a proper basis in law in Scotland and the United States to entitle Scottish and U.S. investigators to treat 2 Libyans as suspects in the continuing investigation into the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. It said Scotland and the U.S. were asking Libyan authorities to help Scottish detectives and FBI officers interview the suspects in Tripoli. The office said the Libyans are suspected of involvement with Abdel Bassat al-Megrahi, the only person convicted in the attack. A bomb shattered the New York-bound Boeing 747 as it flew over Scotland on December 21st, 1988, killing all 259 people aboard the plane and 11 on the ground. Many of the victims were American college students flying home for Christmas. Wow. That hurts, doesn't it? Well, in any event, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to deal with the IRS loses. And the first case up I have is when salary is deemed to be a dividend, payroll tax needs to be refunded. Well, you know how the IRS feels about that. Well, I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Don't go away, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his today's show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. You know, it just sends chills up and down my spine, regardless of what the current weather is outside. But let me get right to it. And the first case the IRS loses is when salary is deemed to be a dividend, payroll tax should be refunded. Here's the case. The IRS and tax court held that the salary paid by a corporation to its owner was excessive. Therefore, the company's deduction for it was disallowed. When the IRS submitted its calculation of tax due as a result of the disallowed deduction, the company and its owner protested that it didn't include a refund of the 1.45% Medicare payroll tax that each had paid on the salary. Now, the IRS said that the tax court does not have jurisdiction over payroll tax disputes, so it cannot order a refund of the taxes. Yeah, well, here's what the judge said. The tax court ruling, whereas here, in an income tax case, payroll taxes must be recomputed to reach the correct tax result, the court does have jurisdiction, and the refund is ordered. And not only is the refund ordered, because of the delay, the IRS had to pay interest on that refund. Now, that's got to make you excited, right? Yeah. How about this? IRS loses. Death defeats the levy on a lawyer's bank account. Wow. Here's the case. An attorney died while still owing back taxes. A state court then ordered that his business bank account be distributed to clients for whom he had held funds and to trustees named to terminate the affairs of the law practice to cover their necessary costs and fees. But before the bank made the distribution, the IRS issued a levy on the account. Now, this is what the court actually had to say. After the state court's order, the deceased lawyer had no interest in the bank account and its funds, which now belong to his clients, his creditors, and the trustees as fees. Therefore, there was nothing for the IRS levy to attach to. Isn't it just common sense? Don't you get tired of listening to the IRS trying to make their own rules? Yeah, I do too. How about this? The IRS loses. A bar's licensed owner should not be treated as the owner. Sound a little convoluted, doesn't it? Let me tell you about it. Charles Manny wanted to purchase a bar, but a felony conviction kept him from obtaining a liquor license. So he reached a deal with his friend Ray Monk, who bought the bar, obtained its license, and opened business accounts for it in his own name. Now, Manny then ran the bar as Chuck's Place, and Monk moved 200 miles away. Manny paid $2,500 a month to Monk that Monk treated as rent. So here's the snag. The IRS audited Monk, said he was the bar's legal owner, and taxed its income to him. So he went to court. This is what the judge actually said. The monthly $2,500 payment did not vary, indicating it was rent, not a profit sharing. In all other ways, Manny and Monk acted as tenant and landlord, so the bar's income was not taxed to Monk. Now, that has just got to excite you. I know, you know what? It does me anyway. Now, you know what? You've heard me talk about it. You ever want to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff? Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah, here we are, inside the IRS. And as I remind you all the time, these are not tax court cases, but these are positions that the IRS has taken over the years that you can actually use in your own defense. And you want to use these things in your own defense, and keep that in mind. And the first one up here is, beware of legal advice from sellers of tax shelters. Sounds pretty obvious, doesn't it? Well, let me tell you the story. A lawyer in Louisiana was held responsible for his part in promoting tax shelter investments that he knew, or at least should have known, were illegal. The lawyer engaged in wire and mail fraud as part of the scheme to generate exorbitant fees by selling phony tax shelters. The defrauded investors paid more than $1 million in fees for the privilege of investing in the illegal tax shelter. And so in self-defense, this is what actually happened. Do not trust the advice of a lawyer who also stands to profit from your investment. Seek independent counsel not associated with the transaction. That is the only way you're going to prevail here. You know what? You can't have any third party have any really major interest in what's going on in your affairs if you want to stay safer. I can't say safe, but I can say safer. That's where you want to be. Now, let me tell you, let me help you to understand how the IRS interprets tax law. Here's the deal. The IRS begins the interpretation process by issuing regulations as proposed, temporary, and final. Additional guidance is provided by revenue rulings, private letter rulings, field service advice, notices, actions on decision, technical advice memoranda, and audit guidelines. Now, for details on each of these, visit the IRS website at www.irs.gov. Now, ultimately, the validity of the IRS's view of the law is tested in court cases, and you hear me talk about them all the time. Sometimes the IRS is found to be right, and it wins. Other times, its interpretation is found to be inconsistent with the intent of Congress, which actually drafted the law. Now, what course to follow? read professional publications and law review articles, and internet search will help you to find these things and to help you decide how to proceed in regard to a specific tax issue. Or, this is what I would suggest, retain a knowledgeable tax professional, somebody who does this for a living. These things are really technical, and you don't want to try and interpret them as a layman or a lay person. Just keep that in mind. Now, do not go away, because my favorite guy, Sean Lefebvre, is waiting in the wings for us for his Geared for Wellness Center, and I'm going to ask him a question about vitamin supplements that just came up in the news today. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 83 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings. I can't hardly wait to talk to him. My brother from another mother has got some great things, but let me bring him in here the proper way before we actually get him talking.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
Hey, Sean, how you doing, my friend? Good to have you on board. Glad to have you here. And you must have been listening on a separate facility because you heard what I had to say, and I don't think we even had your volume turned up yet.
I heard part of what you're asking a question about a settlement.
Oh, no. I didn't say anything about a settlement.
I don't know what you said then.
I said, waiting in the wings is my brother from another mother.
Your brother from another mother. That part I did hear. That was funny.
Okay. Hey, so listen. So are you all set up for your weekend? You got something hot planned? You got the girls lined up waiting to grab you by the arm and take you out?
Oh, yeah. That's just it's the hard part is just getting them to get out of line. Like, go away. You know, so they're always lined up. You know?
Man, wait. Can you hang on a second? I need to go into the other room and get my hip boots.
It's my humility. That's what brings me around. You know, my humility is what makes me so awesome.
Well, no, you know what? I will give you that. At least in my opinion, you are awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Hey, look.
As are you.
Oh, well, that's why we're brothers, right? Here's the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw in the news today, and I wanted to bring it up to you and see what you had to say about it, because I've got some feelings about it. I think that I'm not sure what you're going to say, but one of the headlines in the news today was a study that just came out today, and it was that calcium and vitamin D pills do not help prevent growths that can lead to colon cancer. It says it's the latest setback among many for efforts to prevent disease through vitamin supplements. Now, while that may or may not be true, and I don't even know who the study is with, and you probably do know and have your own opinion on this, I do know this, that if you're taking calcium and vitamin D, at least it's going to help delay or even improve the deterioration of bone, and that ought to be reason enough to take those two vitamins.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, I'd have to look at a lot of details that go into that study, because there are, let's just take calcium, and then we'll come back to vitamin D as well. They're both very different things and absorbed in the body in a very different way. But I could go out to CVS, or I can go to your big like Walmart, Target type stores or whatever, and then Target, supermarkets, whatever, and I can get all kinds of supplements. But the problem is the quality. Like, I can get calcium that's made from ground up oyster shells. Okay, well, it is calcium, and it does reach the recommended daily allowance of calcium. But the problem is, I don't know when the last time you ate an oyster shell was. I've eaten a lot of oysters, but I've never eaten the shell. And so the calcium from an oyster shell is different than the calcium you would get from even milk. And so it's a different compound of calcium, so it's not as bioavailable, so your body can't absorb it. Mm-hmm. So you gotta look at where is the calcium from, what else is going on in your body. So is it a form of calcium that's bioavailable, or is it just a form of calcium that's just going to pass through your body and actually even potentially give you other problems, because you get this calcium in your body can't absorb.
So what you're saying then is this study could possibly be not comprehensive, in that it really depends where the calcium and the vitamin D are derived from.
Right, exactly. And vitamin D, it needs to be specifically vitamin D3.
No, not vitamin B, vitamin D, like in David.
Yeah, vitamin D. There's a vitamin D3 is actually what they call it. D like David, it's vitamin D3.
Oh, okay.
There's actually different Ds, but the ones that you really want, you want the vitamin D3. And vitamin D3 is the one that's most bioavailable. It's the one your body uses the best. But also, when you're taking vitamin D, you also need to make sure you have plenty of vitamin K and plenty of vitamin A, which are both fat-soluble, just like vitamin D is, and without those, your body won't absorb the vitamin D. And what we also know is that if a person is dealing with, like, a person who's really toxic, let's say they just got a heavy body burden of chemicals or heavy metals or whatever their toxic burden is, that those people also have an added problem of absorbing vitamin D.
Let me ask you this, Sean. Is it that's not the way I want to answer this. Are there cases where when people take different brands of vitamins or different sources of vitamins, that when they take a compilation of a variety of vitamins, that those vitamins have a tendency, because of where they're from and what they're doing, that they negate the benefits of other vitamins?
I've never heard of one vitamin negating another one, but I do know for a fact that there are certain vitamins that if you take them in conjunction with other vitamins, it helps speed up the absorption of them. So it helps with the bioavailability. Vitamin C is one of those ones that helps with a lot of things. A lot of different.
You're preaching to the choir here. I am such a believer in vitamin C. You know, I take what I refer to as mega doses of vitamin C. I take 1,000 milligrams in the morning and 1,000 milligrams at night, in addition to a multiple vitamin that I take. And you know what? I don't get colds. I don't get the flu. I don't get the sniffles. And I don't get sore throats. I'm convinced that it's the vitamin C, because prior to me going on that regimen, I used to get colds every year. I used to I'd get the flu. I'd feel, narky. And ever since I've been on this, and it's been years that I've been on it, no more problems.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm a huge fan of vitamin C. Matter of fact, there's everybody metabolizes vitamin C at a different rate. And so there's, like you take what you call a megadose. There are some people who need to take far more than even what you take. And so depending on how fast your body metabolizes it will determine how much you need. If your body is really slow at metabolizing vitamin C, meaning that it stays in your tissues longer, you actually need to take less of it. And so there's actually a vitamin C threshold test that you can take. It's not the most fun test you've ever taken, but it's very effective. And so what you do is you take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every 15 minutes until you get what they call a vitamin C flush. And vitamin C flush is basically, it feels like you have really bad diarrhea. And so when you're doing this test, you need to be home next to a toilet kind of thing. But what happens is the body, you can't really overdose on vitamin C. What happens is your body, the only real side effect it has is your body pumps water into the colon and it flushes it out. And I'm not.
Okay, so what you're saying is, you either accidentally get the right dose of vitamin C and you pee yellow, or you dissolve because it comes out the other end.
Right. Well, yeah.
You fade away because you're full of that stuff, right?
Well, what they say, let's say like someone who needs. There are some people who may need to say, like, you take 2,000. There are some people. Your threshold, and let's say you hit 8,000 milligrams, okay? And then that's when your body flushes. Well, what you do is you take 75% of that amount, and that's what your daily requirement is that you should take every day. So if you hit 8,000, 75% of that is 6,000. So that person should take 6,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. And so everybody's a little bit different on how much vitamin C they need. But yeah, I'm a firm, huge believer that most people who do take it don't take enough, and I like the fact that you take 2,000 milligrams, and I believe everybody should take vitamin C every day. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
So it's good stuff. But that's the thing with you hear these studies about nutritional supplements. They don't do this. They're not effective. They send people to the hospital or this and that or whatever. Is you've got to understand the source. That's why I am a firm believer that if you're going to get on a nutritional regimen, on a nutritional supplement regimen, that you really need to get it from a good quality source, and typically that means getting it from a physician, from a physician's office. The stuff that I use whenever I work with a client is only stuff that you can buy through a physician's office. It can't be bought at GNC or certainly not at the drugstore or at Walmart or Target or whatever. And so the quality of the supplements makes a huge difference. Matter of fact, they did a study, I think it was either last year or earlier this year, where they just grabbed supplements from, on like herbal and nutritional supplements off the shelves from all these, supermarkets and Target and Walmart and CVS and Walgreens and all these places, and they studied them, and they found out, a lot of them are like your 1-a-day plus iron, your Centrum, and those kind of things. And what they found was not only did they not have a good quality, not only was the quality poor, but some of them didn't even have what they advertised having in them. It wasn't even in the supplement itself. And so what you're getting when you buy stuff, when you buy a bottle of nutrition for $5, you're getting garbage. It's just like anything else in life.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's really what that all boils down to. Supplements are good, and I'm a huge believer also that nutritional supplement programs are great for getting you past, like, say that you've gotten to a point. I always use it as this. I don't know if you've ever seen a C-130 airplane they use in the Army has them. Okay. Well, they have what they call JATO. It's jet assisted takeoff. And when they're really heavy, they get these little jet packs they strap onto the outside of the plane, and it's basically like a little jet fuel pack. And they ignite those things, and it helps boost the airplane up into the air.
Wait a minute. Was that a sound effect I heard from you?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, when it comes to airplanes, they get me excited now. But so it helps boost them up in the air, and I see that's what nutritional supplements are like. They get you that boost that you need to get over the hump, whether you've been sick for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But you really the whole point is now the airplane C-130 is flying off of just its basic aircraft fuel. And so that's what you need to just get to the point where you're living off of fuel that, and then, of course, in our world, that's just food.
Yeah.
But there are certain things you do need to take, certain supplements, I think, on a regular basis. There are a handful of them that I would probably always take. Obviously, 5 years from now, they might come up with something different that's better that I'll take instead. But the point is, because of our diet of the food that we grow is so nutritionally deficient that unfortunately taking a good quality nutritional supplement is almost a necessity for good health. And like you say, you take a multivitamin and you take vitamin C, and I think most people get away with that once they're in a state like you are, where they're just healthy already and they're eating a well-balanced diet.
Well, you know what? Having said that, and we're actually 50 seconds away from a commercial break. I actually had to go into the doctor today, not because I was feeling bad, because they called and said they wanted me to go in for a test. And I went in for a bone density test today, and I'd like to discuss that with you when we come back from this commercial break.
Sounds great.
Okay, we're talking to our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. We'll be right back with Sean after these brief messages. We're going to talk about osteoporosis. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy Sean LaFave in his Geared for Wellness Corner. So, Sean, when I left you just before a commercial break, I was telling you that I went and saw a bone doctor today at their request. I don't know if it's because they needed the money or they just wanted to aggravate me a little bit. And I think they got both. Well, actually, didn't get both.
Probably both.
Yeah, didn't cost me any money, but it did disturb me because as you know, and all that, everybody should. It's okay if they know. I'm 70 years old, and so they decided at 70 years old, any male at 70 years old needs to go in for a bone scan, and they want me to do it every 3 years. And so when I went in there, the end result was that I do have osteoporosis, and I've got it in both hips and I don't know where else. And basically, they explained that is a thinning of the bone, and it's something that they have to prepare. They gave me a prescription for this thing called alendronate, I think it is alendronate, and I take one pill once a week. Now, I've got to take this pill first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. I can't drink anything, can't eat anything. I have to have it on an empty stomach. Then I have to either stand or sit up, cannot lay down for at least 45 minutes to an hour, and then I cannot eat for another 2 hours after that on that one pill. But it's once a week, and it's no big deal for me. In addition to that, they want me to take and this is where I got into the calcium vitamin D thing with you today. They want to take 1,200 milligrams of calcium divided, so once in the morning, once at night, a total of 1,200 milligrams a day, and vitamin D between 2,000 and 2,500 international units a day. Taking it, 1,000 in the morning and 1,000 at night, whatever that is. And that was to reverse the deterioration of the bone. Now, earlier we talked about the ineffectiveness of calcium and vitamin D, but obviously they must be talking about only colon cancer because physicians are still recommending it for osteoporosis. What are your feelings about this?
Well, it is important for osteoporosis, but there's a few factors that you need to look at in this whole process that you're dealing with. And the first one here, you're not going to like, because I know how much you love your milk. But studies have shown without a doubt, unambiguously, that cultures that have the highest milk consumption also tend to have the highest osteoporosis rate.
Now, why is that? Because I've always heard, or maybe I got it wrong. I've heard that the calcium in milk was good for you, but maybe that's for your teeth, not your bones.
No. Well, we grew up with the whole slogan, milk builds strong bones and teeth. That's what we all learned growing up, and if it was, whole milk that was, straight from your mom, then yeah, it's great for building strong bones and teeth. But the problem is you're drinking milk from a cow that's been pasteurized, and it's got synthetic vitamins built into it. Matter of fact, they even throw, it always says fortified with vitamin D or something like that. And so it's got a lot of synthetic vitamins in it. It's been it's got a lot of it has bovine growth hormone. It's got the steroids and the antibiotics that they've been given to the cow. And so there's a lot of issues that go on with it. And what the problem is milk tends to make your body more acidic. So certain things that you eat or drink will change your body's internal pH balance. And people are supposed to have of course, for those who aren't familiar with the pH balance, 14 is a pure alkaline, 0 is a pure acid, and 7 is neutral. And so the human body inside is supposed to be 7.2, which is just obviously slightly alkaline, just a little alkaline, not much, just a little bit. Well, the problem is certain things that we eat or drink will tend to make us more acidic. Some things will make us more alkaline. And things that, the obvious stuff that we think of that are not good for us, like smoking and drinking alcohol and eating sugar and those kind of things, well, those tend to make us more acidic, but so does drinking milk. Milk tends to make our body more acidic, and so what happens when the body is acidic...
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. You need to take a breath so you don't pass out anyway. When you talk about when you talk about milk making your body more acidic, I thought milk was more of a basis. When you have ulcers and things, they tell you to drink milk.
Yeah, even though something is a base or an alkaline or even acidic, in nature, out in the open, when you put it in your body, it changes. Like one of the best examples of that is lemons. You squeeze lemons, you make lemon juice. That lemon juice is going to be it's going to test, if you put a pH paper on it, it's going to test very acidic. But actually, lemons are one of the most alkalizing things that you can put in your body. They say the best thing you can do in the morning is take a glass of water and squeeze a fresh lemon into it and drink it. And it gives you not only vitamin C and other nutrients, but it also helps alkalize your body because your body converts it into an alkaline. And so it's very alkalizing. So even though milk is not acidic when it's sitting out in a glass, after you drink it, it actually acidifies your body.
That's interesting.
And it is. It's really weird how the human body works. And so what happens is now you've got this acidic environment, and the body is always trying to bring itself back into balance no matter what it's doing. And so one of the things that it needs to bring it back into balance is it can pull minerals from the body. Well, the easiest place to pull them from are the bones. It can pull calcium from the bones. It can pull minerals from the bones. And so it's taking those bones, you're taking your own bones, and it's pulling pieces of it out, basically breaking the bone down and using it to counterbalance the acidity in your body. And that's why milk consumption actually creates osteoporosis, is because it's just so acidifying.
Well, that's interesting because, I went through this, the only way I can describe it was this interrogation by this individual this morning, and not my regular doctor, but a bone specialist. And one of the things that came out of the conversation was that I have a glass of milk daily. And I love it. And they didn't say don't have it, and they didn't say it was bad for me. They didn't say it was good for me either. I just assumed if they want me to take calcium, the calcium in the milk should have been good for me. But there must be something else in that milk that's not good for me, right?
Yeah, there is. There's lots of things in that milk that aren't good for you. And I would say if you want to continue drinking milk...
it's not a matter of wanting to, I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm 70 years old. I don't give a damn anymore.
I would go down to I want to say that, who was telling me there? Go to the natural health food stores anyway, and you can get raw milk. I was told that you can get it at some of the places here in Southern California.
Well, Altadena Dairy still makes raw milk and raw cottage cheese and stuff like that. They were known for it. Matter of fact, they built that entire business off of raw milk products, and that's probably what I'll start looking for. I don't even know if they still make it anymore, but it was a huge business, but only in the Southern California area where they were actually located.
Sprouts, that's the company I was thinking of. Sprouts. You know Sprouts? Do you guys have Sprouts grocery stores?
Yeah, we got one real close to us here.
Okay, so Sprouts has raw milk, and in fact, Sally and I went to the farmers market up in San Luis Obispo, and there was a place there that was selling raw milk, and we literally bought a quart of it and just walked around and drank the milk, because I really like milk. I just won't drink it from the grocery store. But this stuff was raw. It was completely unpasteurized, grass. Which means
the cream is floating to the top every day.
Oh my gosh, that is the best part. I tell you what, I bought some organic milk, actually in a glass bottle and everything, for when Sally came to visit, her and her daughter came to visit, and the cream was so thick on the top that I could actually scoop it out with a spoon. It was like eating ice cream.
I was raised on a dairy, and in my formula when I was a baby was cow's milk, and my mom would take the bottles out to the barn, and my dad would put it was straight from moo to you. I mean, it was fill the bottle with the milk, and it came to me warm and all ready to go.
Oh yeah, and that's the best way to drink it. It's absolutely it's pure 100% unadulterated milk, and it's good at that point. It's actually good for you. And so yeah, if you can get raw milk that's from grass-fed cattle, completely organic, all natural, then I would say do that, and you're gonna bypass a lot of those things that are gonna make you acidic. Yeah. I mean, obviously full milk has got the good quality fat in there. Yeah, definitely. That's what I would do, since you're gonna keep drinking milk.
Oh yeah, you know what? At my age, there's not very many things I'm gonna stop doing. I mean, if they told me a glass of milk was gonna shorten my life by 10 years, I might consider it. On the other hand, if what it means is that I got to take an extra calcium pill, I'll take the extra calcium pill.
Yep. So here's another thing to consider, though, and maybe you can email me that drug they're putting you on, because I didn't recognize the name when you said it.
Oh, sure.
But the research that I've done on a lot of these osteoporosis drugs, and you might want to ask your doctor about this. I don't know if it's something that he would be willing to discuss or able to discuss, but the way a lot of these osteoporosis drugs work is your bones are just like any other part of your body. It's like like your skin. You slough off old skin, you create new skin cells. Well, the bones do exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. The bones kind of slough off the old bone cells, and it gets rid of old cells that it doesn't want to use anymore, and it creates new bone cells.
And that's precisely what she said this morning.
And so what a lot of these osteoporosis drugs do is they stop the body from sloughing off the old cells. Mm. And so your bones do become more dense, but the problem is they're denser because they're composed of new cells and old cells that really should have gotten rid of, that your body really. So it's almost like putting a fresh coat of paint over the old horse, that the old rocking horse that's kind of like got some rotten wood in there, but we're just going to put a fresh coat of paint on it and leave that rotten wood in there instead of taking it out and repairing it with new wood.
Okay, so let's take this in another direction. Let's forget that we started off with me telling you that I went to my bone vet this morning, and let's take this in another direction. Let's just say that you and I are talking here on the show, and I said, hey, I've got friends I've got a friend that's complaining of osteoporosis, and what would you suggest he do to either stop the deterioration, or maintain his bones in a healthy manner?
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say, I would say I personally wouldn't recommend getting on an osteoporosis drug, because like I was just talking about how the old cells are still there. Mm-hmm. It actually creates denser bones, but they're actually more brittle. So you have a bigger problem there. But really, it's all about dietary change. It's about an active lifestyle. I know that you walk every morning, which is great. If you look at, you can take an X-ray of a runner, mm-hmm. like someone who goes out and does sprinting or long distance running, mm-hmm. versus a swimmer. And those who are runners have denser bones than swimmers do, because the impact of your body hitting the ground every step creates a jarring motion. It's kind of it
toughens the bone.
You will, that your body builds up the bones and makes them thicker and denser so that they can withstand that impact over and over again.
Okay, so I hate to say this, we got 30 seconds.
All right, so anyway, it boils down to exercise, a good impact exercise, as well as diet, and there's all kinds of dietary things that you can fit in there, as well as good quality nutritional supplements. But we can talk about this more next Tuesday if you want to as well.
I think that would be terrific. It's hopefully everybody's finding it as interesting as I am, especially since I'm affected by it. In any event, terrific show, my friend. A great show as always. You have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay happy, and make everybody's life you touch better because of it.
Sounds great. Same to you, Robert. I appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
All right, buddy. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to be talking to our own John Matthews in his Conservative Syndicate Corner. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:07 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 83 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, my good buddy John Matthews is waiting in the wings, so let me give him the proper introduction and get him in here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. John Matthews.
Hey, John, welcome aboard. I am so happy to have you here on the show. I'm happy to have you on the show in any event, but you and I just talked last night on your show, and then we talk every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday just prior to you going on the air. I want to remind everybody that John's show, the Conservative Syndicate, airs every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time, and boy, you don't want to miss it. He's talking, we talk about the Conservative Syndicate, but you know what? These days, I think John is just as tough on the conservatives as he is on the liberals. And so I'm going to start this off, John, by, today has been one heck of a day when it comes to the polls. It looks very seriously like the two front runners are Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. If they wind up being the two running for the White House, is this going to be the first year you don't vote for president?
Well, I guess we can always imagine, the background music of all this stuff, bring in the clowns.
How the hell did you think of that fast?
Well, in this day and age, anything is possible. I have complete all tradition, all standard operating procedures, everything has been thrown out the window this election cycle. The people that everybody thought would be sitting at the top, of course, Hillary is still sitting at the top. It's going to depend here how other things play out in her campaign, but over the next few months. But on the Republican side, of course, right now it's still, everybody thought Jeb Bush was going to be the shoe-in, and he's anything but the shoe-in.
Man, did you see the polls this morning, John?
Yeah, well, I know he's down in the bottom tier now.
Oh yeah, and Trump is at 38%, and he's got double the polls of Ben Carson and triple the polls of more than triple the polls of Bush, 4 times the polls of Bush. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, the last time I looked, I think he was somewhere around 5%. Like I said, that's setting up the losers.
Yeah.
You're at the top of the losers list at 5%. But,
having said that, at what point do you think that the money people are going to start to desert him? I mean, isn't it? I mean, how long are they going to continue to support that?
Well, I think some of that's already beginning to show its colors. I was just reading this morning an article where Bush is now flying, he's still in first class, but he's flying commercial now to go to his campaign events rather than private jets and stuff like that. So one of two things is going on. His donors are hesitating, or they've, cut their ties, or he's hanging on to as much money as he can to try to blitz this thing at the very end. I've talked on my show, and I think I've talked on your show also about this splitter strategy,
right,
of trying to use the changes in the primary to be the last man standing because he's got the most money. Bush has the most money of all the candidates outside of Trump, but that's because Trump's got a never-ending credit card. But
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm guessing at this point, if Bush is like this by the end of the year, I would just about bet he'll actually drop out. I don't think the Bush family, they're not stupid. They've been around politics a long time. And, when they finally see the forest for the trees kind of thing, when they finally look out there and say, you know what, this is going to be such an uphill battle, it's not even going to be worth it. I think they're going to end up cutting ties. I have to be honest and say I'm still kind of overwhelmed with the fact that Trump is still hanging in there at the top. I thought by now he'd at least implode somewhere. I'd say something beyond stupid.
Yeah, but the latest polls, he's increasing his lead. This is just unbelievable.
Well, the cynical side of me says he is just being very reflective of an electorate that is just as stupid as everything that's going on the left.
Yeah, we've had that. We've had that conversation. When are all these other wannabes? When you talk about Bobby Jindal and Chris Christie and Ted Cruz, maybe not Ted Cruz. I think he's got a plan that he's hoping is going to work, but I don't think it's going to work now. But certainly, and then Marco, when are these guys going to drop out? I mean, can they even compete with the way that these polls are going? I mean, if Trump holds on to these kinds of a lead through November, I mean, isn't it kind of all over for these guys?
Well, I think there's already talk going. Chris Christie will probably be the next one to drop out. The ones that really surprised me are still around. I can see Bobby Jindal hanging on for a while, only because it will help him in other areas. You know, if he decides to run for another office or something like that, it might help him. I think that might be what he's playing too. I, for the life of me, can't figure out why Lindsey Graham is still in the race. This guy doesn't want to show up. He doesn't want to show up in his home state.
And I can't hardly believe that I forgot to mention Lindsey Graham, but I think it's because most of the nation's forgotten about Lindsey Graham.
Yeah. I think he's. Well, then again, he's the blooming idiot out of the group. So, he may not just be even smart enough to know that he's everybody's idea of a loser. This guy is a loser on every level and every aspect. Yeah. And I guess the one thing about being a loser is you don't know you're a loser, and you just keep playing like you think you're a winner. But a man that won't even show up to vote in his office as a senator, or won't even go to events going on, campaign events going on in his own state. You got to wonder what the deal is with that. But, I think Christie will probably be the next one to drop out.
And what about Rand Paul? What keeps Rand Paul in there? You talk about a guy that is running uphill against the wind. What the heck is going on with Rand Paul?
I think Rand Paul has just got a pride issue. I think he's got a bruised ego. He really thought he was going to rock everybody's world, and he just hasn't. And he just doesn't want to admit that. He's got a lot of his father in him. And some of that is good. I mean, Ron Paul, I have a lot of respect for Ron Paul. Yeah. I really do. And I like Rand Paul in some areas, on some of the issues that are out there and everything. But I think he's got his daddy's pride. He just doesn't know that he's whipped, and he doesn't want to admit it. So, and I think that might probably be, in the end, the issue. Now, Kasich is running for vice president. There's no doubt in my mind that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, he's going to be that. He's going to be if we get somebody like a Ted Cruz or Trump or a Fiorina or a Carson up there, they're going to need some kind of neutralizer. Kasich may be that neutralizer. He's going to be to whoever the Republican candidate is, what Lyndon Johnson was to
Kennedy.
John Kennedy.
Yeah.
He's going to be that neutralizing force, I guess. But, it's I think maybe if they were going to do anything, if the RNC was so concerned or so worried about Jeb Bush being, the last man standing, you would think that they would initiate some rules in here where they say, well, you know what, if your percentage is below this at this point in time, you're history.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually, John, let me ask you, because I really honestly don't know. Can the RNC or the DNC, doesn't make any difference which party, but can they at some point deny someone who's running for president? Can they say, stop running, you can't do it, or legally they can keep going as long as they can afford it, right?
Well, that's what they're trying to do with all these changes they've been doing in the primaries in regards to delegates. Mm-hmm. They've been trying to get it to a point. For instance, they tried to win this thing with the Trump pledge. If you didn't sign the pledge, you support the Republican candidate, then the states would not put you on the ballot. So it's not like the RNC can come out and say, well, we're just not going to let you run. But they can manipulate things. They can come to the states and say, hey, help us put pressure on this guy or this girl. And we'll do it by this. We won't give you the delegates. We won't put your name on the ballot, things like that. Yeah. That would make it very hard. You have to go in as a write-in and stuff like that. So they have their game. They have their rules. They know how to break them. They make the rules so they know how to break them. But they can't just come out and say, no, you can't run. Otherwise, we wouldn't have primaries.
Matter of fact, if they could do that, they'd have thrown Trump out, right?
I'm sorry?
I say if they could do that, they would have thrown Trump out.
Oh, yeah, they would have done that in a heartbeat. If they have that kind of power.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that somewhere down the line, if things keep going the way they're going, they may at some point in time be able to pull that off through some type of vote within the RNC and get people to actually support. Okay, we pick the candidate. We're not going to have primaries anymore. We're going to pick the candidate. That wouldn't surprise me, but I don't see that happening in the near future.
So what happens now, John? And you'll probably answer it when we come back from this commercial message. Let me ask the question, and you can answer it when we come back from this commercial message. And that is, what happens? Because it looks to me more and more like Trump is going to win the Republican nomination. If he does, and the Republican establishment has been fighting him tooth and nail all the way, what happens to that relationship? Or does Trump win the Republican nomination and he just does his own thing should he get elected? Don't answer it now. Answer it when we get back from these brief messages. We're talking to our own John Matthews in the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy John Matthews in the Conservative Syndicate Corner. I want to remind you all that John broadcasts Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time on Spreaker Radio and a number of other places. The best way to listen to John is to go to his website at theconservativesyndicate.net. And you know what? You can listen to him live. You can listen to his archive shows, everything right there. You know, he is the one guy, even though he's a friend of mine and I'm a little prejudiced, he's the one guy that, besides me, that is absolutely worth listening to, folks. Now, hey, John, when I left you on this commercial break, I put out this thought that I just had at the last minute, and that was if the conservative base, if the Republicans have been fighting tooth and nail against Trump all this time, and he wins the nomination, haven't they now created a friction between the two of them that Trump is not going to be very willing to continue a platform that would be beneficial to the establishment?
Well, I think it will definitely be the opportunity for the Republican Party to walk the walk if they keep talking. And then, you know, as I said earlier, Donald Trump had to sign an agreement that he would support the Republican candidate should he not be the candidate. And Trump made it very clear that the conditions for doing that was, well, if I become the candidate, then you have to support me.
Which makes sense, right? That just makes sense because everybody had to sign the same document.
Yeah, and what'll be interesting to see in the way that you will gauge whether the Republican Party lives up to their side of the agreement will be how much of the money they allocate towards Trump's campaign. And because that's how the Republicans work. If they don't like you, then they just don't give you any money.
So does that hold true for president too, John? I mean, you know, the RNC has a bucket load of money sitting out there, and do they decide what the allocation is going to be for that use? Wouldn't you agree, or maybe shouldn't they agree that the most important office they want to fill is the White House?
But you know, given the state of this Congress and what it has evolved into, I'm not so sure they care. No, it doesn't seem, there's nothing out there that indicates to me that the RNC is really serious about governing. They are serious about holding power. They are serious about winning elections, but they're not that serious about governing. So if you really, you know, if they turn around and they think, okay, well, if Trump comes in here and he's going to come in here like a gangbuster and he's going to stop us from doing what we're doing because he'll be calling us on it, then the RNC, you know, the Republican Party, the GOP leadership, you know, they're going to be a weird case of tyranny. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, we're going to smile when we're standing in the camera and then turn around and stab each other in the back. You know, it's going to be an interesting scenario if it plays out that way. If anybody but their choice, whether it be Jeb Bush or Rubio, which I think, or even Kasich, those are the three that the establishment really like. If none of those three make it, it is going to be interesting to see how this all works out. Now, of course, with the situation in the House right now, with the speakership open and being basically, and I like using this phrase in this particular point of view or this particular point of time, is that the House is being held hostage right now by the Freedom Caucus and saying, you're going to put somebody in here that's going to deal with us the way we should be dealt with, or we're not going to support anybody.
Yeah.
And that is, if that influence carries over at the presidential level, if we're able to get somebody more conservative and more radical, more willing to do what has to be done to restore the country back to its constitutional base, and we have that Freedom Caucus with that ability to apply leverage, who knows how this thing might turn out. We just might actually begin the process of a restoration of America and get us back to
wouldn't that be great?
You know?
Yeah, that would be great. Let me ask you this. Let's just make an assumption. Let's just theorize that Donald Trump wins the election or the nomination, not the election, but the nomination. Is Marco Rubio south enough to help him with electoral votes to offset the northeasternness of Trump?
Well, I think the way that would have to play out, because I'm not really sure at this point. Like I said, everything is still kind of volatile out there right now. So it's hard to say. We're still over a year away, and so you look at this and you say, well, what would be the combination of things, events, and circumstances that would allow somebody like a Trump to gain the support of the Republican base and everything else? And I think it would be his choice of vice president. Now, who that is at this point, I don't know, but somebody like Marco Rubio would definitely help, because it would really offset some of that, some of the media attention that they give towards Trump in terms of the Hispanic vote and everything else.
Well, yeah, but not only that, but if you're looking into the future, if remember, we're just theorizing, but if there was a Trump-Rubio ticket and they won, and if Trump could win a second term, then wouldn't Rubio be a walk-in 8 years from now?
Well, he would definitely be in a very good position to go for the White House after Trump's second term, given your hypothetical here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would definitely put him in the driver's seat. And it would not be a bad move politically. In the same respect, picking somebody like Carly Fiorina, now that neutralizes the Hillary Clinton gender card. So that there's a couple of different ways the thing could play out. And Fiorina is much closer to Marco Rubio than she is to somebody like Ted Cruz.
Yeah, but Fiorina is Western rather than, and they're going to need somebody that's going to pull in those Southern votes. I don't think that Fiorina is going to bring in those Southern votes, right?
I'm sorry?
I said Fiorina is from the West. I don't think she can bring in those Southern votes, and we need the Southern. They would need the Southern votes.
I know. We're just talking about the hypothetical.
Oh yeah.
What kind of combination? What would set things into motion?
Yeah.
I think in the end, I think Fiorina is somebody that I think I would want on my cabinet. And yes. I was at one time supporting her, thinking she would be a good choice for president. I no longer feel that way, but
yeah.
But I think she would be somebody very good to have in a cabinet. In fact, some of these people that are running for president, I'd love to have them in a cabinet. I think Bobby Jindal would be great in a cabinet position.
Yeah.
Certainly if Ted Cruz doesn't win the nomination, then that's my guy. I'm hoping that his strategy that he's employing right now, he's steady. He's not winning. He's not losing. He's picking up in small increments. Should Trump bite the bullet, I think Ted Cruz will be the one that picks up most of that Trump base. But that said, it's just at this point, it really be foolish of me to say, oh, yeah, well, this is what I think is going to happen, because I'm clueless right now.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I could see Carly Fiorina as a Secretary of State for Trump.
Well, I would love to see her as chief of staff or something like that. Secretary of State.
Yeah, I don't think she'd take it.
Well, Secretary of State wouldn't be bad. She's very knowledgeable of the Middle East theater, and in that way, she's very, very equal with somebody like Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
Their knowledge of the history and the culture and everything else would definitely be a benefit, but I think Fiorina would be more like somebody more like a chief of staff, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But,
the only reason I had said that is because of while she was the CEO of Hewlett Packard, she traveled all over the world talking to world leaders and influential leaders all over the world, and knows how to approach them. She knows the nuances about the countries and I've lost the term I wanted to find, but she knows the nuances of each one of those countries, and she could probably deal well with them. And then on the other end, you're looking at, I could just see there's a lot of Republicans that would be fantastic cabinet members.
Oh, yeah, well, I think putting somebody like Ben Carson in charge of health services, health services and stuff like that would just, and the VA or the VA, anything like that would be just be absolutely fantastic. You know, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Ted Cruz, if he doesn't make president, I'd love to see him as Department of Justice head. I mean, he would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So, we could put
make him Attorney General and see what would happen, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. The Attorney General,
Yeah.
and that place would turn around overnight.
Yeah.
So we've got some really good candidates. It's just a matter of which one is the one that one would be the best choice, and one can actually get elected.
Well, the scary part for me now, regardless of who wins the presidency, the scary part now is that new president is probably going to appoint the next 1 to 3 justices to the Supreme Court.
And God help us if it's Clinton. I mean, or Bernie Sanders, or any of those people.
Yeah.
It is. People really don't understand that the way that the balance of powers has been so perverted over these last 8 years in particular, that if you're able to put in, look what happened just since Obama's appointed 2 Supreme Court justices, and look how that has worked in the issues that we have before us today, that has done nothing more than further division of the country.
Well, that's true, but look at where the swing vote has been with John Roberts.
Well, I'm in the Cruz camp with John Roberts. He faked a lot of people out. He fooled a lot of people into thinking he was something that he isn't.
Mm.
And he was. Everybody thought that he was going to be the fix for the Supreme Court. He was going to bring in a solid conservative that was going to take control. Of course, they thought that about John Boehner. I think John Roberts and John Boehner are two of the same. They just wear different ties. They came in sporting some type of reputation. John Boehner was one of the authors of the Contract for America back during when Newt Gingrich was a speaker. So he gained his reputation as a solid conservative, and somewhere the wine and the cigarettes took over, and he just said, "To hell with it. I'm just going to go along with what everybody wants." So John Roberts, I think, is the same kind of guy. I think he's a turncoat. He acted one way, and once he got in that position of power, he just decided he wanted to be more of a moderate than a conservative. So
let me ask you this: are you appointed? You're appointed to be the Chief Justice. Once you're appointed Chief Justice, are you Chief Justice for the rest of your life until you retire or you die, or does that Chief Justiceship can that change?
No, I see. This is one of those things that a lot of people are very misinformed about. Justices appointed to the Supreme Court, or any judge supported to a circuit court or anything else, they are not guaranteed life tenure. They can be recalled. There can be a movement. They have to be recalled. And I'm not real adept on the actual process, but I have looked it up, and they can be removed. But it has to be through Congress, and it has to be there's a kind of like a ratification process that they have to go through, kind of thing. And but it can be done. So I don't think it's ever been done, but I know it can be done. And it's so that to say these guys are locked in for life. Now the procedure is very hard to get them out. It's not something that would happen overnight, but it can be. Our government was designed to run slow. And it was designed to run slow for a reason, so that we don't just go in and make brash decisions that end up come back and bite us. That's what's happened with our government now. Everything is. If you'll notice, in the last 7 years, anything that goes wrong in this country, the first thing people want to know is, what is Obama going to do about it? As if that's his job. That's his job. It's his job to stop all these mass killings. Yeah. It's not his job to do that. It's not his job. His job is to execute the office of the president, which is to protect the Constitution and run the government on a constitutional basis.
Okay, so on that, we are out of time. So I want you to give yourself your commercial. Tell people about your show.
Okay, yeah, just go to my website, theconservativesyndicate.net. We've got everything out there for you. We had some good shows this week. We did something very unique yesterday. We combined Obama's 60 Minutes interview with the debate that took place with the Democrats to kind of draw some similarities and contrasts. So that's the kind of stuff we do. Just go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. You'll find out everything you want to know about us.
John, fantastic segment. I just really, really enjoy it when you're on. I love the idea that you and I can have a dialogue that kind of just flies by without us even thinking about it. In the meantime, I want you to have a great weekend. I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay happy, and I want you to make everybody's life you touch better because of it.
Yeah, we're supposed to have thunderstorms this weekend. Let's hope for rain.
All right, buddy. You take care. All right. Now, everybody else, hang in there, because when we come back, we're going to have the birthdays of the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, we all know what today is. It's Thursday, October the 15th, and it's somebody's birthday. Okay, and here we go. Let's go for it. This person was born in 1945, a Major League Baseball right-handed starting pitcher who played his entire career for the Baltimore Orioles. Happy birthday, Jim Palmer. And, boy, here's a guy that made up a team that was just fantastic. I was privileged to see them in concert at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. He was born in 1946, a pop musician best known as one half of the brother-sister duo, the Carpenters, along with his sister Karen Carpenter. Happy birthday, Richard Carpenter. And finally, here's a guy we all know. He put cooking on the map. He was born in 1959, celebrity chef, restaurateur, television personality, and cookbook author. Bam! Happy birthday, Emerald Lagasse. Yes, sir. Well, what happened today in history? I can tell you that on October the 15th, 1878, the Edison Electric Light Company begins operation. And in 1938, the District of Columbia formally adopts a design for its flag. And in 1951, Mexican chemist Luis E. Miramontes synthesized the very first oral contraceptive. Well, I could make a joke about that, but I'm not going to do it. I'd probably get thrown off the air. In 1989, Wayne Gretzky becomes the all-time leading point scorer in the National Hockey League. And our quote for today is, when you have seen as much life as I have, you will not underestimate the power of obsessive love. Wow. Isn't that something? Absolutely. Well, it is time for our secret daily teaching for your life. And the secret today is all about a positive mental attitude. The secret, whether we realize it or not, we're thinking most of the time. If you're speaking or listening to someone, you're thinking. If you're reading the newspaper or watching television, you're thinking. When you recall memories from your past, you're thinking. When you're considering something in the future, you're thinking. When you're driving, you're thinking. When you're getting ready in the morning, yep, you're thinking. Sustained thinking is creating. Choose what you give your attention and mind to, because as you give your attention and mind to something, no matter what it is, you're summoning it into your life. You're thinking. Yep. Well, it's time for the Harvard Business Tip of the Day. And the management tip today is focus on your breath to sound more persuasive. Well, breathing plays a big role in how you sound. The ability to harness your breath is critical when you're speaking up in a meeting or giving a speech or a presentation. To speak with more confidence and power, focus on your breath. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart and raise your arms up over your head. Breathe in deeply as you exhale. Slowly lower your arms down to your sides. Make sure your shoulders are back, not hunched. This is the best posture for speaking. You're standing tall, owning your full height and resonating. You're resonating confidence. Put one hand on your belly button and one hand on your chest. Breathe deeply and notice which hand moves. Keep your chest steady and breathe into your stomach. Then exhale slowly and speak on the breath. Also, make sure you use your breath to support your words by letting it out steadily while you're speaking. Makes sense, doesn't it? And it works too. Well, how about those interesting but useless facts? We've got a plethora of them for you today. Let's get right to them. Do you know that months that start with a Sunday always has a Friday the 13th? Yep. And the only king in a deck of playing cards without a mustache is the King of Hearts. Have you paid attention to that? Did you know it? Yep, it's a fact. How about this? Did you know that tomatoes were once referred to as love apples? This is because there was a superstition that people would fall in love by eating them. Yeah, wow. Here's one for you. Mayonnaise is said to be the invention of the French chef of a Duc de Richelieu in 1756. Now, while the Duke was defeating the British at Port Mahon, his chef was creating a victory feast that included a sauce made of cream and eggs. When the chef realized that there was no cream in the kitchen, he improvised, substituting olive oil for the cream. A new culinary masterpiece was born, and the chef named it mayonnaise in honor of the Duke's victory. Now, isn't that interesting? Sure it is. Did you know that the letters H-I-O-X in the Latin alphabet is the only ones that look the same if you turn them upside down or see them from behind? Huh. Give that some thought. H-I-O-X. How about this? Did you know that when Burger King introduced the Whopper sandwich in 1957, it cost only 37 cents? You've come a long way, baby. How about this? Did you know that there is no ice covering Iceland? But there is in Greenland. And let me leave you with this. There are 2 million different combinations of sandwiches that can be created from a Subway menu. Now there is something to think about. Now do not go away, because when we come back from these brief messages, I'm going to answer your emails. And the first one that I have is from Lawrence Foster from Marietta, Georgia. He's asking about hobby expenses, and I'm going to tell you all about it right after these brief.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Dental Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:52 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 82 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. We're coming down to the wire. Time for me to answer your emails. Just need to remind you that this is an entertainment section of the show. While I try my best to give you a comprehensive answer to your questions, some of this stuff comes in a little bit sketchy, and we always encourage you to contact a licensed professional before you make any decisions. They're going to make you sleep better at night, give you some peace of mind, and they're going to make you not care if you get a registered letter or a knock on the door. The reason for that is they have what's referred to as a requirement to their license, errors and omissions insurance, same thing as malpractice insurance, which means that if they give you the wrong advice, then they pay the piper, not you. So let's get right to it. My first email comes from Lawrence Foster from Marietta, Georgia. He's asking about hobby expenses and says, I'm developing photography as a serious hobby and have received offers to buy my pictures. If I use the money that I receive from sales to buy photography equipment and for other expenses of taking pictures, can I claim a tax deduction for these costs? So here's the deal, Lawrence. Hobby expenses are deductible in an amount up to the income received from that hobby, and so can shelter that income from tax. But there may be limitations. Hobby expenses are claimed as an itemized deduction on Schedule A of the tax return among your miscellaneous expenses, the total of which is deductible only to the extent that it exceeds 2% of your adjusted gross income. And so, if you don't file a return that itemizes deductions, you'll get no deduction, and if you do, your deduction may be limited by that 2% of AGI floor. And by the way, there are many other rules that also apply, so check with your tax advisor before you go any farther with that. You need to know that only about 25% of the taxpayers actually itemize their tax deductions. Well, next email comes from John Berlin from Colonial Heights, Virginia, saying the wedding is off. Is there a tax break too? It says, I bought a house with my fiance a year ago. We've since broken up and she's moved out. I can't afford to keep the place by myself, but its value has risen. Can I take any of my gain tax-free if I sell it? Well, John, the answer to your question is yes. Normally, to take a tax-free gain on a home sale of up to $250,000, a single taxpayer must own and use the home as his or her primary residence for 2 of the prior 5 years. But if the home sale is forced by unforeseen circumstances before the 2 years is up, gain in a proportionally reduced amount can be taken tax-free. Now, IRS regulations specifically give the cancellation of a wedding after buying a home as an example of such an unforeseen circumstance. So there's your answer. How about this? The next email comes from Rick Craig from Olaf, Kansas, asking about depreciation decisions. And he says, I plan to start a sideline business while keeping my regular job. If I take Section 179 deduction for the equipment that I buy, but the startup has a first-year loss, can I take the deduction against my salary income? Well, here's the thing, Rick. If the business is a proprietorship, then the answer is yes. You can take its 179 deduction against your salary. But you might save more tax in the long run by not doing that. And why? Say you buy equipment the cost of which normally is deductible through depreciation over 5 years. That Section 179 deduction is going to let you deduct up to $112,000 of its cost right away, instead of taking it over the 5 years. This faster deduction sounds good, right? But slower depreciation deductions taken later when your business may turn profitable will reduce that 15.3% self-employment tax as well as the income tax, which the current deduction against your salary will not do. Now, look at the numbers both ways before making your decision or your deduction choice. And just keep in mind, always check with that licensed professional. And let's see here. The next email comes from Pete Ganal from Monroe, Michigan, asking about a dependency exemption. It says, my mother's living in a nursing home and has run out of money, so I'll be paying her costs. Are there tax write-offs that I can get for this? Well, you know what, Pete? Yeah, you can. Here's the thing. If you'll be paying more than half of your mother's support, you probably will be able to claim her as a dependent and get a dependency exemption for her, even though she's not living with you. Now, that'll let you claim a medical expense deduction for her medical costs that you pay on her behalf. Now, your mother may also be eligible to have Medicaid pay her costs. So take note here. Payments from Medicaid and Social Security count as support from other sources when determining whether you provide major support. So for more details on this, go to IRS Publication 501 to get those answers. And keep in mind that even in light of that, your medical expenses are only deductible to the extent that they exceed 10% of your adjusted gross income. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide, Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. Now, on my next show, Dr. Stephen Tidwell talks about tomorrow's dentistry today, and David Garrett presents Garrett on the Law. Always good. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, or 3 p.m. Pacific time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, I want you to stay happy. I want you to stay safe, and I want you to make everybody's life you touch better because of it. And then the last thing, all I want to say to you is, good night, everybody.